What's going on, 49er faithful, 49er fam, 49er gang? This is your boy, 49er Dion, a.k.a. Niner Gang Podcast, back here in the building. So definitely hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, turn on the post notifications so I can keep you up to date on any and everything San Francisco 49ers. With that being said, let's get right on into it. What's going on to everybody in the chat? Matt, Mariah, Eddie Glover. Hopefully everybody is having a good night. Sorry, trying to adjust this camera a little bit. But yeah, man, we here to just recap a quick beatdown that we put down on the Brendan. Was good, man. Brendan said he about to go to bed. Quick beatdown that we put on the Jags, and definitely get into this Vikings game, man. So we went ahead and went into the Jags house, whooped their ass, beat them 30-10, ran the ball another 44 times. Jimmy only threw 22 times. Takeaways from the game. We run that ball like nobody's business, and against the Jags defense, it was ridiculously hard, man. The one thing I can say is the Jags have a very stout defense, so we grinded it out, and we tested their will with how many times we ran that ball, and believe me, they showed up more often than not. But what I can tell you is Deebo Samuel was the one who broke through it because he averaged almost 10 yards a carry. The other thing is Juwan Jennings, shout out to him, having that definite beautiful situation that he had where, that player from the Jags, number 2, I believe it was, got pissed off and wound up in a situation where he got himself ejected for being stupid. Then the other thing on top of that, you have Deebo running wild. He gets us the TD. Jimmy throws a couple of touchdowns, but completely blows a wide open touchdown pass to Jeff Wilson Jr. But there are things that we expect from Jimmy and things that we don't. At the end of the day, Kyle is scheming up things to mask his deficiencies, as he always has. He just does what he needs to do, and that's pretty much it. There's nothing else you can really say to it. So, on the defensive side of the ball, Bosa is up on his sacks. We have Bosa that had, I believe, 2 or 1, and Arden Key had himself a sack as well. What do you say? You don't want to hear what D said in the group chat about well, in the group chat about what? I don't know what you're talking about, Matt. But you talking about that Spaces earlier? Oh yeah, man. I'm not gonna go on that rant again, man. Everybody know how I feel about that situation. But hey, at the end of the day, man, we won 2 games in a row. I'm not gonna sit up here and be mad about that. I'm going to be perfectly fine with it. Yeah, oh, my God, it's horrible that he missed it. Eddie, you're right. Kyle did dap up Jennings after the altercation. That's what that's the fire we need. Because here's the thing. Jennings did what you're supposed to do. You can laugh about it all day long. As long as you don't react and get yourself kicked out the game and or get a penalty on us, it's perfectly fine. Look, man, I pissed you off enough to a point you got yourself thrown out the game, man. You just gave us free yardage. I appreciate you, sir. Have a wonderful day. Take care now. Bye-bye then. I'm not going to be mad at that. Excuse me. So, defensive side of the ball, man, we do what we do. Norman's been doing well this past couple of games with that peanut punch. He's been grinding. He's been showing up and showing out. Every now and then he gets beat. Every now and then he tries things he definitely shouldn't be trying. But he's been playing as well as he possibly can. We are on a 2-game win streak. We did beat the Rams. We beat the Jags. And there's a lot for us to be, happy for right now. My number one thing is I'm jumping on the Jimmy bandwagon when the man has done pedestrian-ass things, 102 a week before, 182 versus the Rams. And then to top it off, 178 versus the Jags. Like, you're playing the Jaguars. Like, this should not be that. Like, we're playing mediocre teams, but at the same time, you're missing things basically because it's a situation of you not, simple, easy, efficient throws that should be made or not being made. And at the same time, it's just, your actual head coach saying, I don't know if I trust this dude or not. As much as we would like him to, sometimes it's just, I don't know if I trust him. I really don't, because of the things that are going on and the things that have happened in the past. So Do I think, we'll be doing, another run game this week, 44? I don't know. We can only hope. But at the end of the day, man, it was a beatdown of the Jags. We went into their house, and we took over another stadium, people. If you look in the stands, the Jags don't have a ton of fans. They truthfully do not. We took over that damn stadium. Shout out to my guys from the AZ Niner Empire. Shout out to the people over at Varsity Tavern that always house us and allow us to come in there and be crazy ass United fans. You know what I'm saying? And provide free shots whenever we score a TD. Basically, they went out there, man. There was a couple of guys that are normally there with us. They went to the Jags game, and appreciate them for going ahead and showing up and showing out and making sure everybody know. You know what I'm saying? It's not a gang over everything. That's basically what it is. Yeah, Matt. You know what? I'm gonna put that up there, bro. That's definitely Matt speaks the truth here. Jimmy is the football version of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Guaranteed. That is guaranteed, man. So here's the thing. What do you say? We ain't playing Jacksonville since 05. Yeah, he has not. That is actually very true. And he beat him last time. So, Jimmy can put another 2-0 stat against the Jags. So let's just kind of get into some things. I'm going to go over a few things, and then we'll slow down. We'll hit up, talk about the fantastic sponsors that we have. But the last 2 weeks have been fantastic for the 49ers. We got our first home win in over a year. And we got another road win in a beatdown of the Jags. Jimmy has been managed to the T in the last 2 weeks. The 49ers have ran the ball a total of 86 times and thrown the ball only 41 times. We doubled the throwing attempts to limit the chances of Jimmy making a mistake. And he hasn't thrown an INT in the last 2 games. And this year, when he doesn't throw an INT, we win. This tells me 2 things, good and bad. One, we want to run the football down your throat, control time of possession, and wear your defense out. And we got the line and the backs to do it. 2, Kyle doesn't trust Jimmy. For those people out there that will say he's playing well, he didn't make any mistakes. Let me point out a few things to help you understand. Jimmy has been limited to 19 and 22 throws in each of the last 2 games, along with a myriad of inaccurate throws, missing a wide open TD. C. Jeff Wilson Jr. in the Jags game. Kyle stated with Sanu out. Jennings would get a chance to show up and show out. This was his opportunity. Every ball thrown to him has been inaccurate, behind him, or not on target. Most of Jimmy's throws are short passes where Yak makes up for a lot of his yardage. Versus the Rams, 182 yards or 2 TDs, a very pedestrian night. Versus the Jags, 176 yards, 2 TDs, which should have been 3 if he doesn't overthrow Wilson wide open in the end zone. Another pedestrian day. Open your eyes, people. A starting QB in the league doesn't average 2 TDs and under 200 yards a game. I'm sorry to burst your bubble, but, that says I don't trust you. We're going to run the ball. TOP was huge in both games. Versus the Rams, 39 minutes and 3 seconds. Versus the Jags, 38 minutes and 22 seconds. There's only 60 minutes in the game. And when you have a defense on the field for more than half of that, they're tired. This game coming up against the Vikings will no doubt be a run-dominated game, focusing heavy on time of possession. The Vikings this year giving up an average of 131 yards per game, which bodes well for the Niners. Mitchell should be back for this game, and we should continue to see Sermon and Wilson as well. The longer we have the ball, the less time to get Cook, Thielen, and Jefferson involved offensively for Kirk Cousins. We're on a 2-game win streak, and so are the Vikings. They beat some contenders, the Chargers and the Packers. We have beaten the Rams and the Jags and got our first home win in over a year. Looking into the numbers, Jefferson is the number 1 person we have to stop. He's only 54 yards away from 1,000 yards receiving this season. And though Thielen has more TDs than him with his 8 to 6, he is their main target in the receiving game. Outside of Thielen and Jefferson, they have their tight end Conklin and KJ Osborne, another wide receiver. Then we go to the run game. Dalvin Cook, who is averaging 4.6 yards per carry and has 6 TDs on the season. We definitely have our work cut out for us in this game. So that's just, like some of the things. What's up, Sim, my big dog, man? How you doing, brother? Bob, Bob Bunny in the house. What's happening, Bob? Let's take a look. Mariah says JG is playing the best ball of his life. All he does is win. It doesn't matter if he only throws five times for 10 yards because he wins. And Mariah has she has, the laughing emojis after that because she know how we all feel about Jimmy, man. It's just nothing. So Symmetry says, how much of it is Kyle not trusting Jimmy versus Kyle using the strength of his offensive roster? Why complicate the way in which we move the ball if we don't have to? So what I will tell you here, Symmetry, is I understand where you're coming from and I agree with you. What I'm stating is a real quarterback for a real football team does not have mediocre stats like that. You're usually trying to put up more than 200 yards, less than 200 yards passing and just 2 TDs every game. If it gets you a dub, cool, but you don't wind up in talks of being an elite quarterback or being a respected guy when it comes down to, people talking about it amongst the team, amongst fans, amongst commentators, amongst all of the media pundits, anything. They just don't get you to love. In other words, if you don't have to throw the ball and can still win, why pass for the sake of passing? I agree with you. I'd rather us run the ball. I don't want us throwing the ball as much as we can because I'm going to get to a point that is going to drive that one home. I agree with you. Yeah, when I state these things, Symmetry, it's just for the people that's out there thinking that Jimmy is the second coming to Joe Montana. It's not to say that we should force him to throw the ball. We know he's deficient in that. As a coach, period, point blank, whatever sport you're in, you play to your players' strengths. You make more sense that way because you ask them to do what you know they can versus what they can't. You have them work on stuff like that in the offseason, and then you test them here and there. But when it comes down to it, yeah, man, I agree with you. It's no point in throwing the ball if you have to. Case in point, 2019, Green Bay, the championship game. We ran our way to the Super Bowl. Everybody was like, oh, well, Jimmy only did this. He only did that. Van the Man, what's happening with you? This is the first time I've seen you in here. Welcome to the stream. Definitely appreciate you. CG Ruthless, big dog. What's going on with you, baby? So for me, that's what I'm looking at. These are just things to keep people calm about Jimmy because, for me, I don't need people jumping on the bandwagon like he's just the greatest thing since sliced bread because unfortunately he's not. You know what I mean? So, yeah. Matthew said Cook is good. He's his greatest running back in the NFL. He said Henry is good, but I take Cook without even thinking about it, about the negatives. Oh, wait, there isn't. Yeah, but yeah, I understand exactly what it is, man. I really do. I'm not stating anything else. So defensively for the Vikings, it's the usual suspects. Kendricks, Anthony Barr, Harrison Smith, and a guy for a lot of 49er fans wanted at the trade deadline, Cam Dantzler, and Mackenzie Alexander isn't bad either. The one thing I noticed this team is crazy in is that passive defense. And this comes from everyone on the team. They have 38 passive defense, 8 interceptions as a team. Kendricks and Woods, the safety, are tied at 2 apiece for the INTs, and Woods leads the team with 7 passive defense. So this tells me run the ball, throwing against this defense is going to be a hell of a task. Offensively, for us, the run game will be important. Establish it early and defend against it as best we can on the defensive side of the ball, obviously. We will need the line to be particularly stout against Cook with that 4.6 yard per carry average. And in the secondary, we must be mindful and not let Norman get Cook trying to hold down Jefferson. For us offensively, I can't stress this enough. Run the ball, control the clock. The less time they have, the harder it is to make plays. Because it has 21 TDs and only 2 interceptions, so he's not making mistakes this year. Offensively, it's simple. Feed Jeff, Elijah if he's playing, and Sermon, as well as Kittle, Debo, and Ayuk, and minimize Jimmy's passing opportunities, and we can limit the mistakes. I have confidence we win this game, but it will be a close one, like 24-21, something in that range. Defensively, Norman must continue to create turnovers. Tart and Ward need to continue to be solid on the back end, along with the front four continuing to turn pressure into sacks. Last week it was Bosa and Key. This week we need to get everyone going. The more frustrated Cousins is in the pocket, the more mistake prone he'll become. Don't let him get comfortable at all. The last 2 weeks we've held teams under 60 yards in total rushing, which is phenomenal. This week we need to continue that against Dalvin Cook. The keys are simple: a stout run defense, create a few turnovers, and control the clock, and we win. Defensively, we may not stop everyone, but slow them down and keep them out of the end zone. Keeping them out of the end zone is the key to winning. We can do it with the right game plan. I don't believe we can continue the trend of another 40 rushes this week. We may be more balanced, even though that would be optimal with the Vikings giving up 131 yards rushing per game. 49ers win 27-24 in a nail biter and continue on to a 3-game win streak. So these are just some of the things that I was looking at and saying to myself, like, man, this is definitely going to be a game that's going to be hard fought, but at the same time, it can be won. It can be won. Danielle Hunter, yes, you're right. Danielle Hunter is definitely a really good pass rusher for them. Let me take a look at the Vikings and who's leading their. I think Kendricks is leading their sack total. I believe he has 4, but I'm going to double check right now. I'm just going to take a look at these numbers real quick, because on the defensive side of the ball, you just got to be ready for it. So yes, Eric Kendricks is their leading sack guy. He's got 4. Harrison Smith has 2. Woods has 1. Vigil has 1. Oh, no, my bad. Danielle Hunter, he's got 6. So that's definitely true. Danielle Hunter is their leading sack guy. I apologize. Eric Kendricks comes in number 2. Danielle has 6, and Kendricks has 4. But, they get after the passer. But outside of Danielle Hunter, their actual defensive linemen don't have a ton of sacks. This is all coming from the linebackers. So we have to be very mindful of those dudes. Corey Davis, what's happening with you? But these, what do you say? He said, hey, 6 foot happy turkey. That's cool. But yeah, man, it's definitely going to be a tough game for us. This is not going to be no walk in the park. But the keys to the game are actually really simple. It's not that complicated. It's understanding what needs to be done and executing properly. But this is how this works for me. If you come into the game, your first thing should be, I need to make sure Adam Thielen is held down. I need to make sure Justin Jefferson don't do shit. I can watch the little tight end Conklin. He doesn't do much, but you always got to be mindful of him because he does exist. And I got to make sure that Dalvin Cook doesn't gash me up the middle with, taking advantage of the wide 9 and that opening in the middle where pretty much that's where you run if you want to attack it. So if you slow that collective down, even if you say, okay, look, I might just sacrifice, let Thielen get a little busy, but I'm going to make sure Justin Jefferson don't do shit. That's what you want to do. You want to be able to key in on guys and make sure that they aren't able to actually really get going, because I'm going to tell you right now, if Justin Jefferson get cooking, he's going to be doing that gritty all night long. And we do not want that, man. Last thing I want is Justin Jefferson out there really, getting busy and doing what he's supposed to, doing what he's not supposed to be doing, at least against us. I don't need that. So I'm going to stop right here real quick. We're going to shout out our sponsor, the people over at MyBookie. So we hope you didn't fill up on Turkey Day, because in MyBookie, the fun is just getting started. This Cyber Monday, MyBookie is giving you a bet one, get one free promotion on the Monday Night Football games on Cyber Monday. Bet against the spread on the Week 12 Monday Night Football game, and whatever you wager up to $100, you receive the same value back in a risk-free bet for Week 13's Monday night game. So MyBookie is the only sports book where you buy one, get one, means you're the one holding the bag. Don't miss out. Head to mybookie.ag this Monday to get in on the exclusive promotion to set the stage before you redeem the bet one, get one free promotion. Why not wager on the biggest matchup of Week 12, the Los Angeles Rams versus the Green Bay Packers? In a clash of NFC juggernauts, don't look for either side to hold back. Bet the over and thank me later. Set yourself up for success by doubling your first deposit when using promo code HIVE, HIVE, at MyBookie. That's promo code HIVE, HIVE, to double your initial deposit all the way up to $1,000. Bet anything, anywhere, anytime with MyBookie. So, yes, that's right. Sid, we paused for station identification there, sir. So the other thing is, man, I saw this earlier today, man, and it kind of hurts my heart. We got flexed out of Sunday Night Football. So I believe the Kansas City Chiefs and the Chargers got flexed in, and we got flexed out. They moved us to a 425 game. So it kind of sucks for us because it really drives me insane when we really, when we're out there, we working, we starting to build and we doing things, but then they want to just give it. It's only because the AFC West is so tight. And I kind of understand it, man. You got Justin Herbert, you got Patrick Mahomes, you got Keenan Allen and Mike Williams, and you got Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce, and you got different things. So it's an AFC West battle. All that good stuff comes into play, and I get it and I understand it. You know what I mean? And those are some really hard things, man. I honestly feel like it is because of the Seahawks. You're right, Eddie Glover. It is 100% because of the Seahawks. Why? Because they're trash. And nobody wants to see them on national television, especially with the way their rush is looking. I think they rushed Russell back. I didn't say that slow because I get tired with that one. I think they basically saw what was happening with Geno Smith and was like, we got to get his ass back on the field. As far as us against the Seahawks, in a couple of weeks, it was supposed to be. Not as far as us against the Vikings. So basically, let me go ahead and pull up our schedule, Sim, and let you know. Because it was initially Sunday Night Football against the Seahawks. So basically next week we play an afternoon game versus the Vikings. We play them at 2:25 West Coast time. And then the Seahawks game, after that, on December 5th, it was supposed to be a Sunday Night Football game, but they flexed us out and they slid Kansas City versus the Chargers in, obviously because it's a big AFC West battle and, the fight for supremacy and all that stuff. Every Seahawks fan I'm cool with all want Pete Carroll out faster than Amazon Prime. I don't know, man. I mean, to keep it a buck, man, the one thing about the Seahawks, they don't really talk too much about, people being on the hot seat or anything like that. Like, you've never heard that the whole time Pete Carroll has been there. It's never been the case. So, yeah, it is a weird start time as far as that goes. But, yeah, man, we got that, So it's basically us because you got to remember everything. We have daylight savings and all that shit here. I think if I'm correct, some you're up in Canada, so it's a little bit different. But at the end of the day, the keys to the game are very simple. It's real easy. All you got to do is limit the amount of times that Jimmy throws, because I'm going to tell you right now, Eric Kendricks is going to be licking his chops to get his hand on the ball. He loves him some Jimmy Garoppolo. Whenever Jimmy is playing, it seems like Eric Kendricks turns like something clicks. And I get it. Some people, hey, happy Thanksgiving to you, Melissa. I get it. It is definitely a hard task, and I definitely don't. Yeah, see, y'all don't have to do that stuff. Yeah. Y'all have it too. Okay, I didn't know that. I didn't know y'all had that up there. I thought that was just a USA thing. But when you look at it, man, period, point blank, the other catalyst in this game, honestly, is Kirk Cousins. And we all know the history of Kyle and Kirk and, what happened with them. Basically, they drafted RG3 because the owner forced them to do it. They went and drafted Kirk because that was the more prototypical quarterback that they wanted. You had Kirk for a little bit, then you went on to Atlanta. And, when you came here first year, you screwed it up because you had a love affair with Kirk Cousins. He didn't wind up panning out. We wind up with Jimmy Garoppolo. He winds up only basically playing about 2.5 seasons out of the 4 that he's been here, and here we are basically drafting a quarterback to replace him. And in the offseason, we flirted with everybody under the sun to try to get somebody else in here to be able to throw the ball because that's what you wanted to do. So you're EST, yeah. Basically, that's how it works. So it definitely is frustrating for us as fans because though he is our quarterback, we still have our reservations, and that's fair for us to feel that way. You know, when I was in the spaces earlier going in, talking about the things and trying to educate people on it, a lot of people, you know, like one guy was saying, you know, well, what do you want? And I'm like, I want consistency. I want to do that I can count on. If we're behind, excuse me, we're behind in the game, I want Jimmy to be able to make it to bring us back. I would love that. But I don't have faith that's going to happen. You know what I'm saying? The first touchdown of the season was thrown by Trey Lance. Trey Lance and Trent Sherfield. We was getting our asses handed to us in the Green Bay game. Who gave us a shot in the arm? Trey Lance. You know what I'm saying? And keep it a buck, if Kyle didn't sabotage, the Cardinals game where Trey Lance started, he probably would still be starting. You know? Just look at it from the standpoint of all the things that have happened this season. Kyle got to yell at him on the sideline in the Bears game and tell him this is simple shit. Like, can you do it or not? Like, what the fuck, man? I got a young kid right here. I got a young rook ready to go. If you keep fucking it up, I might as well put him in and give him the chance to go ahead and get the reps. You know, because to keep it a buck, man, when we came into the season, I can guarantee you at this point, we definitely didn't look to be 5-5. We were definitely at a bare minimum looking to be, 7-3. Possibly 8-2, but 5-5 right now. Nah, man, we might as well let Lance start if that was going to be our record. At least with him starting, we can understand the mistakes and the flaws and things because we understand that he's just continually growing, and everything is working out for him. Eventually, he's going to start seeing things from a different perspective. He's going to be able to read the defenses properly. He's going to start seeing the field. Everything will slow down for him. And that's basically what it is, man. It's not easy. So when you have a game of this magnitude against the Vikings that basically starts to count for playoff contention, and I'm not saying we making the playoffs, not by any stretch of the imagination am I saying that. We're on the outside looking in. You know, basically the playoffs belong to the division leaders right now, and then we got the Rams. And we got to fight with any and everybody else, you know, in the NFC to be able just to get a fucking spot right now, you know, because if we look at the landscape of the NFC just in general, I'm pulling up everything right now. So the Cowboys, the Packers, the Bucks, and the Cardinals and the Rams are all a lock. After that, it's the Eagles. Actually, no, I take that back. It is, yeah, so basically we have teams that are either at 500 or right under it. So the teams that are viable looking on the outside in, oddly enough, Philadelphia at 5-6, Minnesota at 5-5, us at 5-5, the Panthers and the Saints both at 5-5. So that's a ton of that. That's literally 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 teams that can really make our lives a living hell if we don't start getting a leg up on our competition. And then the sad part is the Falcons are right at the end of the spectrum. So this wouldn't be an easy ride to the playoffs if we even make it. And if we get there, to be honest with you, what I was saying in the spaces for everybody was it's very, very simple. If we do get ourselves to the playoffs, even if we get kicked out the first round, what happens is you drive Jimmy's draft stock through the roof. The draft class for quarterbacks this year is garbage. Nobody's going to draft a quarterback in the first round. It's just not going to happen. So if you go ahead and you can sell basically Jimmy and get at least a second round pick, you go ahead and you do that. What I'm worried about is I don't need him playing so good that they think that it's that is a positive thing to sit Trey Lance for a whole nother year. I don't want that because you're not sitting him behind a wily vet that he can learn something from and who can teach him. Jimmy ain't looking to teach that kid. He was brought in basically to take his fucking job. So it's not like there's a quarterback dynamic between those two where it was like, what it should have been with Tom Brady and Jimmy Garoppolo. Even though Brady didn't want to retire, he could still learn things from Tom Brady. It was the same thing with Aaron Rodgers and Brett Favre. Favre just didn't want to do a QB competition. He was like, I'm not about to go up against this young ass kid. I'm fucking Brett Favre, bitch. You're going to let me start or you're going to let me go. And they let his ass go. So it's definitely a tough task when you ask, a young QB to go through and sit on the bench for 2 years, and the guy he's sitting behind is not that crazy of competition. Like, you have to think about it from that standpoint. If I'm Trey Lance, I'm looking at it like, I do not want to sit another year behind this motherfucker who I obviously was brought in to replace. And y'all really think that this dude is about to make it happen? But, it's just not worth it. You know what I mean? Joe Montana likes a guy like Jimmy G more. He likes a guy like Mac Jones more. Why? Because they are the prototypical quarterbacks. They stand in your pocket, deliver the ball. That's what they do. They can roll out. They can do play action. They can do, but they're not. They don't have the athletic ability. And it's not a slight at Joe Montana. He didn't have the athletic ability. That wasn't his thing. It was not who he was. Joe Montana was a stand in the pocket, deliver the ball quarterback. If he needed to move and get out of the pocket, he could. But he wasn't overly athletic. That's where Steve Young comes in. He did have the athleticism. So it all depends on, what it is, and what people's preference is. And for me, my preference is to get Trey Lance on the field as soon as possible to provide him with the reps so that next year, we hit the ground running. We actually get rid of Jimmy and we don't hold on to him, because I think that they're going to try to stretch it as far as they can to get as much as they can. Even if you get 2 picks for Jimmy, you made out like a bandit. If somebody says, well, I'll give you a 3rd and a 4th, fuck it, I'll take it. If somebody says, well, I don't think he's worth the 1st because he's oft injured and 9 times out of 10, I can't do anything for him. But, if he ain't on the field, that's what I just wasted my pick. And that's just how we felt. 2017, we were like, man, cool. This 2nd round pick was well worth it. 2018, we was like, what the fuck? 2019, we were like, you look good, but at the end of the day, the run game and the defense was so solid that, it kind of matched anything that you did that was bad. And then the next thing you know, you look at it and you go, damn. 2019 comes, COVID, we had the most money on IR. It was just a bad year all around. But you had to mix in C.J. Beathard and Nick Mullins. You had to do that shit in the first year, So it could be a little bit blamed on Kyle and a little blamed on Jimmy as well. Mainly being the fact that, Kyle wanted Kirk Cousins and he was holding on to that. And, he waited it out and couldn't do it. Then you go to Jimmy. Jimmy winds up being an injury-prone quarterback, and we only have him for a small span of time. So then we start to look at his spray chart and his throws, and we start to see the short throws and the minor minuscule things that he's doing. He can only throw to the flat. He can only throw over the middle. You know what I mean? And when he does have those big explosive plays, it's rare. And see, the thing is, what people get twisted and misconstrued is not that we want him to throw the ball down the field consistently every single down. That's never going to happen because nobody does that. But we don't want him to have to dink and dunk his way all the way through his whole fucking career. The man just made 10,000 yards. He's been in the league 8 years. He started at least 2.5 seasons. Patrick Mahomes shitted on that. I think Mahomes right now is at 15,000. And the man's only been in the league for about 3-4 years. Matthew Stafford did that in a short span of time. Like, everybody did that. Like, people are just out there balling, And Eddie Glover says, I think we'd be lucky if we get a 5th for Jimmy. He's been in the league too long to be this average. He going with that motherfucker Tom Brady. Yeah, that's basically how it works. So at the end of the day, man, the Vikings game is a winnable game. What's good? I can't do that like you, Jay. I really can't. Let me try that again. Let me wet my whistle. What's good? I said I'm just gonna do it my way, man. What's good, Jay in the Bay? How you doing, brother? I gotta get you on the show, man. Um, but for me, I'm keeping it a buck. I really feel like we will definitely go out and win the game with the simple keys: run the ball, control the clock, limit the amount of times that Jimmy has to throw. Be very mindful of him getting anywhere near Eric Kendricks with the ball because that young man is looking to eat Jimmy alive. And then the other thing from the Jags game, and this is another thing that irks me. That blitz coming off the edge, he saw that. You knew that was coming. When you about to hike the ball, you look at the line, you look at the linebackers, you open your eyes to a broad spectrum of things, and you say to yourself, who may or may not be coming in. You keep that in the back of your mind. When you about to hike the ball, he is a right-handed quarterback. So when he drops back, boom, that linebacker's coming from your right-hand side. So I know you see him. And you stood there and just let him blast you. You got to be better than that. You got to read that shit. That's the whole point of it. You know. Yeah, Jay says we have a 2-game win streak. I understand. You know. Symmetry says it's going to be a high-scoring affair. Like the Saints game in 19. Yeah, that's the thing, man. I'm a little worried. Like I said 27-24, you know, as like a score prediction, you know, but it could be more, man. It's going to definitely be possibly even be a shootout, man, because it's going to be a hard task stopping Justin Jefferson. We ain't going to walk in there and just do that. You know, and the run game has been fantastic these last couple of weeks. But we faced some mediocre ass run offenses. You know, the Rams run offense ain't that dope. Gerald Henderson wasn't doing shit. And we, you know, when it came to the Jags, man, please, Robinson. Like, there wasn't much. We haven't faced a run offense like this where there's a viable runner. And when we have, we've had a little bit of a struggle. So it's definitely something that we want to see. Jay in the base says Trey Sermon got some snaps versus the Jags. What do you think of his performance? So. You know, I can't give Trey Sermon a true grade on that game versus the Jags because the Jags have, like, I think the number 3 rush defense in the NFL. So I can't really grade him on that. I need to see him against a team that's going to be able to give up some yards like the Vikings, 131 yards per game, as I stated, as a defense. That's averaged out over the full year, you know, so – Our receiving coach, yeah, we do have an extra weapon in George Kittle because their tight end, Conklin, I mean, he's nothing spectacular. Luke, I failed, man. I failed. I was trying my damnedest not to watch the games, but I failed, man. I watched the last 2 games, brother. Yeah, I was, you know, everybody out there, if y'all, I went on a little bit of a strike by 1 week. Well, I didn't want to watch when Jimmy was the quarterback, man, because I was getting frustrated. I was getting tired of watching him go out there and have shitty-ass games. This shit is annoying. You know, you go out there and the first thing you do is, you look at it like, damn, man, I'm over here. And as a fan, we get frustrated because we spend our hard-earned money on all this paraphernalia. We take time out of our day. You know, we go ahead and go buy a beer. We go get wings. We do whatever we do for Sunday, however you do it. And we feel like it's wasted when y'all go out there and lay an egg and lose, especially when you lose bad or when Jimmy's done some stupid ass shit that makes no sense. That starts fucking shit up. That throw the whole vibe off. You know what I'm saying? So Matthew says the 3rd and the 4th is certified highway robbery for this team. Kittle, Debo, and Mitchell were all 5th, 3rd, and 6th round picks. And Symmetry says Trey is not as decisive as I would like. Too much extra moves and not enough explosions. 2 pass pro assignments that led to a sack and a throwaway. Okay. Said Jimmy is good with a strong running game in the last 2 games. Has been magnificent, and Jimmy has been great on 3rd down. Jimmy is good on 3rd down, but I'm not going to call Jimmy. If you're saying overall magnificent, I wouldn't even go that far. But I'm not going to say that Jimmy's magnificent by any stretch of the imagination. You came in a little late, Jay, but I'm not about to give a quarterback who throws 2 TDs and barely 180 yards a magnificent. I'm going to give you did your job. That was sufficient. Because those are pedestrian. Those are numbers that Trey Lance should have. That's what we should expect from Trey Lance, not Jimmy Garoppolo. Been in the league too damn long for me to be comfortable with them little punk ass stats. Those stats are whack. I'm sorry. I can't give him magnificent at all. And I'm not going to jump on the Jimmy G hype train. I'll never buy a jersey from him or nothing. He's all right. He's doing what he's supposed to do, and he's not fucking it up. So I'll appreciate that much. But I'm not going to say he's magnificent by any stretch of the imagination because he isn't. Run game, yes. Yeah, run game was magnificent. Yes. You know, yeah, he's been who he was. He said, Eddie Glover says Kyle made Jimmy look better, just like in 20. He did. He finds a way to mask his deficiencies, and he makes him look perfect, man. He makes him look really, really good. Luke Luna Henderson was averaging 100 yards, maybe all-purpose. But when we run like we do and score first, it puts pressure on the QB to throw. But the Vikings will do that. They will throw, yes, and they have viable weapons. Adam Thielen and Justin Jefferson are to be respected. I don't want Justin Jefferson to hit the gritty not once, okay? I want him to hit the gritty, while he gritting his teeth because somebody came and rocked his fucking world. I need Tart. I need Hufunga. I need Jimmy Ward. If Emmanuel Moses is on this, I need all of them. I need hard hitting. I'm talking about take that young man, make sure you get that welcome to the NFL hit. Rock his world. So it's not, those are the dudes, man. I'm telling you right now. And it's a good thing Kyle Rudolph ain't in town because he'd have been a viable threat as a tight end because he was when he was there. But making Cousins uncomfortable in the pocket is another key. That's the biggest key. Because when he get uncomfortable in the pocket, he do stupid shit. And this has all been seen over the years. I find Kirk Cousins to be a stat pattern. Like that's my idea when I think of Kirk Cousins. I think of a dude who makes sure he has great stats. So next time it's time for a contract, he gets paid. Because the Vikings gave him a fully guaranteed 3-year contract of $84 million ago, just a few years ago, and then they gave him more money. So my thing is you've never – people probably look at that and go, man, you're just ragging on him, blah, blah, blah. At the end of the day, you don't win. You never won a Super Bowl. You're not going to win the Super Bowl. And I just don't see playoff wins in your future. That's my opinion. It's what I think. It's what I think of him, and that's just how I feel. I don't think that Kirk Cousins is a Super Bowl winning type of quarterback. He's got a good arm. He does some good things, but I don't see him being that big of a baller. And a lot of people, will say, well, nah, man, he's great. He's better than Jimmy. Yeah, he's more efficient. Yeah, he can make the throws that Jimmy can't. But keep it a buck. Where's your playoff wins? Where's your Super Bowl ring? The Vikings have a viable team. There's no reason they should be 5-5. You know what I mean? So when you come and you look at it, it's a little bit different. So I can even go ahead and go over, their losses and tell you exactly what happened. Just purely from a number standpoint. First game, they lose to the Bengals by 3. Next game, they lose to the Cardinals by 9. Game after that, they beat the Vikings. In their loss, and then in their loss to the Browns, they lose by 7. Next loss they have is to the Cowboys. They lose by 4. In the loss, they lose by 3. So they're in most of their games. As far as when they lose, when they win, it was nothing crazy. They barely beat the Lions. They beat them by 2 points. They beat the Chargers by a TD. Barely beat the Packers, only by 3. You know what I mean? They beat the Panthers by 6 points. So I mean, their games are always close. So they are beatable. You just got to be smart and execute properly in how you do things. That's just basically what it is. I think Zimmer is a mess in the clutch. Luke Luna, they always lose in close games. So is that because of the coach? Because the Vikings are always losing in the heartbreakers, or winning in close ones at the last minute? And that's basically true, man. That's true. These are things that come into play. So we got to hope that Zimmer calls a bad game, and we got to make sure keys to the game. Slow down and Cook down. Slow down Justin Jefferson. Keep an eye on Adam Thielen. Make sure that you've got Kirk Cousins uncomfortable in that pocket. We can't just have pressures this week. We got to have sacks. And that's the issue. A lot of the times what people will say is, oh, man, well, so-and-so got pressure. This person got pressure. The person don't do shit but bust pipes. At the end of the day, I need pressure to turn into sacks or turnovers. Either one. But you can't just have pressures. Pressures don't mean shit. Because if I have a bunch of pressure on Kirk Cousins, but he's continually completing the ball to Justin Jefferson, what the fuck are those pressures but that? Just pressure. And if you're able to stand in the pocket and continue to throw the ball and be cool as a cucumber under the pressure, what does that pressure really mean to you? Nothing. So at the end of the day, that's that. You know what I'm saying? And make sure that you have Fred Warner in coverage. Keep a close eye on him. I know Greenlaw ain't going to be back, so we're going to have to stick with Aziz. We're going to have to stick with Marshall Harris in there every now and then. And if you want to give Tart the nod, please throw Hufanga in there at linebacker. The man has a nose for the ball. Hufanga's been playing great the last couple of weeks. Those are some of the things you can do. It's very easy. And then on offense, make it a trio of running backs. Hit him with Sermon. Hit him with Mitchell. Hit him with hit him with Jeff Wilson Jr. It's not hard. Just rotate their ass in and out. You don't know what you're getting. Trey Sermon might hit you in the mouth. Jeff Wilson might hit you in the mouth. But don't let Jeff Wilson get behind you. He can boogie. And Elijah Mitchell, boom, I'm going to get through there. I can run between the tackles. I can run outside. I can do whatever I need to do. You just got to be ready for it. Offensive line, be smart. Find Daniil Hunter. Find Eric Kendricks. Find Anthony Barr. Make sure those dudes are locked down. And Jimmy, for God's sakes, if you see Harrison Smith or Woods or Cam Dancer looking like they coming for you, see it. Avoid it. Do something. But don't stand there and watch somebody just sack your ass when you know they're coming off the edge and they blatantly are standing there like they are hunting you. That linebacker last week pounced on him. You said Daniil Hunter's done for the year? Ooh, that could definitely be a plus. Daniil Hunter ain't playing. We good. But I don't have the official injury report because we still got the rest of the week to go through. But that's going to be my time, guys. I appreciate y'all hanging out with your boy. You know what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, man, keys to the game have been provided. All we need to do really is just run that ball and control the clock. We don't need another 22-play drive or we wind up with 3 because of Jimmy being horribly inefficient and missing Jeff Wilson Jr. wide open in the end zone, overthrowing the ball with no pressure. I will never understand that. And that's part of the reason why I would rather have Trey Lance, because you can't miss stuff like that, bro. You truthfully can't. So let's get this dub. Let's continue to stay faithful wherever you at. Go ahead and watch your games, man. This game, I most likely will have to go to the bar because I don't think it's going to be on TV. We're not popular. And then anytime the Cardinals are playing, unfortunately, I live in Arizona, so we'll never get a 49ers game because, the Cardinals run shit around here. But at the end of the day, man, great Joe Montana says we win this game. And I'm just saying that because I'm holding this Funko Pop, and that's just what it is. Sim said Matthew Elijah Mitchell got injured, but thankfully not. Yeah, I think Mitchell will be back for this game. I think basically what they said was we're rushing him back if we play him this game. We didn't really need it. It was the fucking Jags. I mean, their rush defense is stout. They are number 3 in the league for no reason. I got another one too, man. Both of these are from my hermano, man, my brother-in-law, um, dopest brother-in-law, what I'm saying, that you ever had, man. I got the Joe Montana joint. And of course, look, man, I gotta have a rock. You know what I'm saying? I gotta have a rock. You know, so it's always dope to have those two, man. I keep them at my desk, while I'm working and stuff. Keep me going throughout the day. But I appreciate y'all for jumping in and hanging out with your boy. We will win this game. We will. I'm gonna go ahead and speak it. I'm gonna put it out there to the universe. I hope it reverberates off of all the 49er fans and it reverberates back to the team and we can go ahead and get this dub. There's no reason that we shouldn't. I appreciate everybody in here, man. Shout out to all of y'all for hanging out with me. I thank y'all so much. This is a passion of mine. I'm always happy to come on here and talk football, and it gives me a little, my little moment, to be able to just do something that I love. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody in here. If you celebrate it, if you don't, hey, man, take the day off. The government that gave it to you anyway. But yeah, happy Thanksgiving to you as well, Mariah. And saying let's get this W, man. Let's get this W. We go take down the purple people eaters because they ain't there no more. And we will be blessed. We will be faithful. We will stay strong. I want y'all to all have a good day. Have a great weekend. Continue to have a great rest of the week. No matter what you're going through, man, prayer helps. And, what I'm saying? If you need me to pray for you on something, just, holler at me and I got you. It's always a blessing to be able to pray for someone else because that reverberates back to me in some way, shape, or form. God is real, and even if you don't believe, but I tell you right now, in times and moments of trial, trial and tribulation, you be praying. Sometimes, it is hard, but stay blessed, stay faithful, and I'm out this joint. Peace.